Welcome to World of Fire. The flame has always been more than light, more than heat. It is creation and destruction. It is memory and discovery. From ancient myths to modern science, from the fires that shaped history to the sparks that shape tomorrow. This is the story of fire, and I will be your guide. We see it every day. A flame on the stove, the light of a candle. Fire feels familiar, but it wasn't always that way. Once, it marked a boundary between a cave and a home, between fear and safety, between darkness and direction, between wildlife and culture. With fire, humans began to cook. They learned to fire clay, to melt ore, to make glass, to build, to dream, to preserve. We are the only living beings who didn't run from fire. We stayed. We didn't fear it. We chose to tame it. It didn't just change our habits. It changed our path. It made possible things that might never have existed otherwise. Scientists say the human body began to change when we started cooking food. We became smaller, but smarter. Fire changed not just how we lived, but what we became. It shaped our bodies, our brains, our evolution, forever. It was the beginning, and it gave us both power and fear. But fear only comes when we lose control. At the start, there was a choice, and humanity made that choice. We stayed with fire. We are the children of fire. It's not just a tool, it's the starting point. And even now, it lives in every part of what we call civilization. Before fire, night meant the end of everything. When the sun went down, life stopped. There was cold, darkness, silence. You couldn't see anything. You couldn't do anything. But one night, something stayed, a light. Soft, warm, flickering. A light that didn't come from the stars. And that changed everything. With fire, evening arrived. Not just a pause, but a kind of time that didn't exist before. Time to sit, to listen, to think, to speak. Fire didn't only give us warmth, it gave us the time to be human. When we stare into flame, it draws us in. It's not just light, it's a stage. And there, by the fire, the first story was told. Long before writing, before books, before microphones, there was a voice. And fire, that listened. The fire became our first school, our first theater, our first gathering. We didn't start speaking just because we could. We started because someone was near who could listen. It was around fire that we became us. It gave us a place to connect between generations, between body and thought, between silence and words. And even now, when we gather together, we still reach toward the light, and we look into the fire. When we say the word fire, we often think of disaster, of flames that burn everything, of loss, of catastrophe. But for the earth, fire is not destruction. It's a mechanism. It clears the forests. It removes rot and disease. It opens seeds that won't wake without heat. After the fire, something new begins, and ash becomes soil. Entire ecosystems survive because of fire. Without it, they would stagnate. They would suffocate. Fire takes part in the breathing of the planet. It burns old plants, and carbon dioxide enters the air. Then new greenery grows and pulls that carbon back in. That's how the carbon cycle moves. That's how climate works. That's how Earth lives. Without fire, this cycle stops. But it goes deeper. The Earth gives birth to fire from within. Volcanoes, lava, streams of heat that don't warm, but create. That's how islands were formed. Minerals, soils, fertility, and on that, cities were built. Fire doesn't belong only to humans. Some animals use it knowingly. In Australia, certain birds called firehawks carry smoldering branches and drop them onto dry grass to start fires. They know small animals will flee the flames, and the hunt becomes easier. This is not myth, it has been recorded. Fire is a tool, even for those who cannot speak. We think fire is ours, but it belongs to the earth. It was here before us. It will remain after. There was a time when humans knew this, when they didn't just use fire, they honored it. It had a name. It was given offerings. It was feared and thanked. In the next episode, I'll show you how fire became sacred, how ritual appeared, how fire gods were born. One of those names is mine. Come, if you're ready, I'll tell you more.